which is given. Mantra is again bisyllabic, and mantra is surcharge. Mantra is given with some potency by a Mahakoda, by a Siddha Purusha. And he infuses some power in a mantra, and each mantra is bisyllabic. And when he utters the mantra, and each mantra is associated with our process of inhalation and exhalation. So mantra is always bisyllabic, which is called Ishta mantra. And gradually, when he starts mantra, his kundalini rises up. First, his kundalini crosses the Muladhara chakra, then Swadhisthana chakra, then Manipur chakra, then Anahat chakra, then Visuddha chakra, and there becomes the union between Radha and Krishna. There, that is the when the devotee reaches at that state, he feels the spiritual trance. At that time, he feels the bliss, he enjoys the bliss. And whenever he is not doing this intuitional practice, as it is fitted with our inhalation and exhalation process.
Yes.
Dr. Prashant, your voice is not audible.
Always this is goal, and this is the difference. Okay, now it is audible.
It's audible, and we have one more minute.
Now it is audible.
We have 1 more minute to wrap up, sir.
Okay. Within 1 minute, I will close. Thank you, sir. So tantra and yoga, they do not belong to any watertight compartment. There is no straight cut boundary between the two. One who is a yogic practitioner, one who is a yogi, he can be also a tantric by doing special type of intuitional practice. He can also tantric. And finally, it is tantra. Yoga fits our body and mind, because human being is a body, mind, spirit complex. A human being existence is trifarious. We have a body, we have a mind, and we have a spirit. To feel the inner call of the spirit, finally, we have to do some intuitional practice, which is helped by tantra. So with this, I again express my deep sense of gratitude to all the members of this organization Ritambhara. At least in this time, in this materialistic world, they are trying, they are aspiring they are helping others, some people, to realize the ultimate goal. Thank you again. And I express my also deep love to my younger brother Saroj and all the members of Ritambhara. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prashant. It's been really grateful. You spoke about both yoga and tantra and tried to get into the depth of it. यहाँ पर आपने जब योग की बात करी तो आपने जोड़ और संघ दोनों की बात करी, जिससे गणित में जोड़ समझा जा सकता है, तो फिलोसॉफी में उसे संघ समझा जा सकता है। इसी के साथ साथ आपने बताया कि विज्ञान जो है वो एक्सटर्नल अचीवमेंट है, तो जो आध्यात्म है वो इंटरनल अचीवमेंट है किसी व्यक्ति का। और योग और आसन से हम लोग हमारे हार्मोन्स को भी कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, जिससे हमारे बायोलॉजिकल और इमोशनल चीज़ों को भी कंट्रोल में लाया जा सकता है। और फिर तंत्र के अंदर दक्षिणाचार्य, वामाचार्य स्कूल्स और उनकी सोच के बारे में आपने बताया, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। इसी के साथ हम लोग आगे बढ़ेंगे प्रोग्राम में। अब अगला भाग है जिसमें हम the section is called Appreciation and Interaction with Professor Rajesh Raj. So I would like to call upon Professor Rajesh Raj to conduct this part of the program.
Namaste to all the 3 participants. You all did very good job, and in your all sides you produce a nice way of your knowledge and wisdom. I'm really glad to feel all of you in this symposia, and very interesting way Dr. Saroj kept the Buddhism, the yoga and Tantrism all together in this interaction. So it would be very interesting to know we are talking about the same truth in the eyes of yoga, with the eyes of Tantra, and with the eyes of Buddhism. In yoga, in the view of yoga, I really very happy to listen Dr. Dubey. Dr. Dubey really explore a lot in a very nutshell. He not talked only about the Hatha Yoga. He explained the deeper meaning of prana and the interplay of prana in very short and very nicely with energetic understandings. He also explained the Patanjali in a great detail up to the Nirbika Samadhi. And this is really a very nice to hear him how he concluded the Hat Pradipika and the Patanjali Yoga Sutra all together in a nice way. So I heartily thanks to Dr. Dubey for your nice speech. But here in the interaction, I would also like you to be there with us. I know everybody has a lot of important things, but we are in the middle of this discussion where yoga, tantra, and Buddhism, all three are in a one table here. I was really surprised to listen Dr. Malcolm, where he not explained anything, but he
That is great.
tried to felt everybody the Buddhism inside. So I remember the text Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. In Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, the goddess asked many questions. Who are you? He was asking with Lord Shiva that are you this or are you that or you that? She asked 9 questions. And about all these 9 things are about the super consciousness. And you know how Lord Shiva replied? He replied, okay, sit in a comfortable meditative posture and start meditation. He said that bring your awareness between your breath and the middle of your breath, the interval of your breath. The first answer, what he gives, is neither the explanation and the philosophy, but he just said, Lord Shiva just said, focus on the interval of the breath. And from there, one by one, he gave 112 meditation practices. So instead of explaining the philosophy, he just go through one by one all the meditations. So Dr. Malcolm remind me the Vigyan Bhairav when we are assuming a nice lecture of the philosophy. Maybe it could be from Shunyavada, Vigyanvad, Thervad, because I came to know that he is pioneer of Thervad. So I was really very ready to listen him from the Thervad. Might be I had a question about the vipassana, about the kaya anupassana, vedana anupassana, dhamma anupassana, chitta anupassana, but he not talked anything, just he focused on our breath. He realized his knowledge, his wisdom through the breath. So I really thankful to Dr. Malcolm that instead of lot of discussions, he put his way, whatever I think Lord Buddha did in his past. Whenever people ask the question, very philosophical question to Lord Buddha never answered. He's silent. So somehow Dr. Malcolm is really a very good follower of Lord Buddha, and his style follows the Lord Buddha, and he just given his lecture in the practice. Now, in the third side, in the third part of the chair, in our discussion table, is the Tantra, and Dr. Panigrahi start with the Anand Marg, and yeah, I really very thankful to be with you here. You started with yoga, but the way you entered into the Tantra, it was marvelous. You explained the three basic way of the marga of the Tantra, the Vamachar, the Dakshinachar, and Madhyamachar in very nice and easier way that everybody could understand. The problem of Tantra is nobody understand the Tantra because when you go to the text and scriptures of Tantra, it is so Sanskrit. lot of letters, lot of words, lot of things. People confused with the mantras, Vinyog, Nyas, and all. They couldn't understand the deeper meaning of the Tantra. The way you started, sir, it is obviously gave a nice idea of the Tantra. So when we get together here on discussion with the Tantra, Yoga, and the Buddhism, I would love to listen all the participants, all the people who are listening us. They can raise any question. They can compare the practices. They can compare the philosophies. They can ask the masters to answer their areas, their fields, because these three are actually, you can say, three eyes of Lord Shiva. These three different practices are actually the three basic pillars of the Sanatan culture. There, if anybody has a question, you can interrupt me. Otherwise, I will continue the interactions. So I would like to include here Dr. Dubey, that Dr. Dubey has talked about varieties, or you can say he explained the diversities. I'm not talking about the what he talked about the educational system, but that the philosophical part he talked about the varieties from the prana to the samadhi. It is really very good to listen all those philosophies. But as I want to Dr. Dubey, if any layman people like me and many others, they come to yoga, what type of practice would you like to tell them to start with? And I'm going to ask the same question to all three. If Dr. Malcolm is here, well, he just started with the inhalation and exhalation, but I would also like to ask Dr. Panigrai, that how you answer. Dr. Malcolm already answered that you just go through the breath and you will get everything. You not worry about anything. So maybe if Dr. Malcolm would like, he can answer also not only the Kaya Anupassana, he can answer with the Vedana Anupassana, he can talk on the Dhamma Anupassana and Chitta Anupassana also. But although also I would love to ask question with the Dr. Panigrahi, that in the Tantra practices, either you take the Vama Tantra or Dakshin Tantra or the Madhyam Tantra, what actually the Anand Margi, as Anand Margi, what if a layman come to you, how you answer? So first I start with Dr. Dubey. Please, Dr. Dubey, take the mic.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh ji, for very beginning or stepping stone towards journey of yoga or union or becoming more evolved, evoluted, and added as an edge to the life, energy, and synergy, as I have already spoken. Uh, Actually, the very question, it is not like that the person is coming from a very one point of time or a one juncture of life. He is coming with a kind of problems or a definite objective to deal with, or a perplexity or a query, or a say kind of physical disorders to deal with yoga practices. So as and when and what juncture a person is, accordingly yogic practices may be advised. As also I have spoken that ashesha taptanam samasraya bhata, people who are not satisfied or not getting proper dealing and solutions, they do come to the yoga. So in terms of their problems, yoga can be advised. And one more important thing, actually in Indian tradition, yoga and these kinds of an amalgamated or inclusive practices were as the part of lifestyle and living and educational gearing up in the life, and inculcating those practices which can refine the whole character and opening all dimensions and horizons. So they were there. So in whatever juncture the person is unopened with their dimensions, either in terms of physical, mental, or spiritual, accordingly the yogic practices can be advised अदरवाइज इन अवर ट्रेडिशन इट हैज बीन टोल्ड कि पात्रता को ही देने से वह उसमें स्थिर स्थान को ग्रहण करेगा। हम कुछ भी बताएंगे तो उससे तो वो वही ग्रहण करेगा जो वो ले सकता है या जिसकी उसको आवश्यकता है। तो एक जो वंडर एडवाइस तो मुझे लगता है कि नहीं हो सकती, लेकिन जो मैंने कहा कि बाल्यकाल से ही एक जो होना चाहिए संस्कृति और जीवन के जो उन्नायक मूल्य हैं, जो शिक्षा हैं, जो देह को परिपुष्ट करते हैं, जो चरित्र का निर्माण करते हैं, जो चेतना को बढ़ाते हैं जिससे बाकी सारा ज्ञान आ सके, मतलब हमारा व्हील ऑफ जो धम्मा है या व्हील ऑफ एक्शन है वो बढ़ सके। इन सब की ट्रेनिंग में जहां कोई कमी हो रही है उसको गुरु, गुरु का मतलब है कि ज्यादा ऊर्जा एनर्जी लेवल वाला जो समझता है, जिस पथ पे जाकर उसने हायर एनर्जी लेवल गेन किया, वो उसको बताएगा कि हाँ ये ऐसा करने से तुम्हारा एनर्जी लेवल, तुम्हारी क्षमताएं, तुम्हारी सीमाएं, कैपेसिटी बढ़ेगी। और इस दृष्टि से योग तुम्हारा लोअर लेवल से हायर लेवल पर, चाहे वो एनर्जी हो, चाहे चेतना हो, चाहे वो स्पिरिचुअलिटी होगा, ऐसा एडवाइस हो सकता है। इसीलिए भारतीय औपनिषदिक परंपरा में भी गुरु समय समय पर बदलते रहे। स्वयं महात्मा बुद्ध भी अनेक उपस्थित उस समय के लोगों के पास जाकर योग की, ध्यान की, प्राणायाम की, विपश्यना की, सभी की शिक्षाएं उन्होंने ली हैं और फिर उन्होंने स्वयं अपने आधार पर व्यक्ति या विशिष्ट स्थिति को देखते हुए उसे एडवाइस किया। तो मेरा तो इस विषय में यही कहना है।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद डॉक्टर दुबे, आपने सच में बहुत परिमार्जित तरीके से अपने वक्तव्य को रखा। और आपके बातों से ये मालूम चलता है कि ये डिपेंड करता है कि पूछने वाले की अवस्था कैसी है, उनका विचार कैसा है वो, क्योंकि योग के पास वैराइटीज ऑफ स्ट्रीम्स हैं, प्रैक्टिसेस हैं, जो कि शारीरिक और मानसिक से लेकर के आध्यात्मिक के गहरे तलों तक है। और उसके पात्रता के आधार पर, उसकी ज़रूरतों के आधार पर एक गुरु जो अनुभवी है, जो ज्ञानी है, जो उस पथ पे आगे बढ़ा हुआ है, वो उसे सुझाव दे सकता है, उसे उसके अनुरूप बता सकता है। बहुत सुंदर उत्तर, आपका तहे दिल से, हृदय से आपका धन्यवाद। मैं इसी प्रश्न को लेकर के डॉक्टर मेलकॉम के पास जाना चाहूँगा। वैसे तो डॉक्टर मेलकॉम ने आनापान सती योग बता करके अपनी पूरी बातें उन्होंने विराम कर ली है, लेकिन फिर भी मैं उनसे दोबारा से सुनना चाहूँगा कि अगर कोई सामान्य व्यक्ति आपके पास जाता है और मान लीजिए कि वो सांस का रोगी है, I'm here giving a twist here, and he has a problem in focusing on the breath, और वो आपसे पूछता है कि साहब कोई और उपाय बता दीजिए, तो आप क्या बताना पसंद करेंगे डॉक्टर मेलकॉम?
मैंने अब तक जो थोड़ा सा मेरे अनुभव से आपके साथ जो मैंने शेयर किया, उसमें कोई गलती होगी तो पूर्ण गलती मेरी है, ये विद्या की नहीं है। तो इसके लिए मैं पहले क्षमा चाहता हूँ आप सभी को। तो अब यह ऐसे कोई व्यक्ति हो जो श्वास नहीं ले सकता है, तो शायद वो जिंदा नहीं रहेगा, क्योंकि जब तक श्वास है तब तक जान है। तो फिर भी मुझे थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आ रहा है सर कि आप क्या पूछना चाहते हो, और आपका सवाल बहुत इंटेलिजेंट सवाल है। तो मैं मेरे लिमिटेशन से आप वो प्रयास करूँगा उसका उत्तर देने के लिए। देखिए, आपने पहले भी एक अनुरोध किया था, इसके ऊपर एक टिप्पणी की थी कि वेदनोपासना, कायानुपासना वगैरह वगैरह जो है, मैं जानबूझ के वो सब चीज़ में जाना नहीं चाहता था, क्योंकि जो कितने अपने जो यहाँ अपने साथ जो बैठे हुए पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, जो पहली बार ये विद्या के बारे में सुन रहे हैं, उनको थोड़ा सा भी मैं भटकाना नहीं चाहता हूँ। फिर भी एक छोटी सी टिप्पणी है इसके बारे में। समझो कुछ दिक्कत है, और वो दिक्कत छोड़ो, आम टाइम को भी जो आदमी अपने श्वास को देख भी सकता है, उसको सिर्फ वो 10 मिनट सुबह और 10 मिनट शाम को, या 20 मिनट सुबह और 20 मिनट शाम पे रुकना नहीं है। उसको हर क्षण प्रति पल अपने शरीर से या श्वास से जुड़ना चाहिए। तो चलते चलते भी वो देख सकता है कि मैं चल रहा हूँ, और स्नान करते समय भी उसका ध्यान सिर्फ स्नान के ऊपर होना चाहिए। ये नहीं कि 10 विचार अपने मन में आना चाहिए। जब भी मैं कंप्यूटर साइंटिस्ट था तभी हम पैरेलल प्रोसेसिंग के बारे में बहुत सीखा है, बहुत करते भी थे, लेकिन ये हमारे लिए व्यक्तिगत तौर पे हानिकारक हो सकता है। हमने जो काम लिया है हाथ में, उसी के ऊपर ही अपना पूर्ण ध्यान होना चाहिए। जैसे इस वक्त मैं आपके साथ बात कर रहा हूँ, मेरा पूरा ध्यान, एक क्षण के लिए भी कोई और इतर विचार नहीं आ रहा है। सिर्फ आपका जो सवाल है उसका जितना हो सके उतना उत्तम जवाब देना है, उसके ऊपर ही मैं श्रम करूंगा और अन्य विचार नहीं लाऊंगा। इसी तरह जो भी हम अन्य एक्टिविटी करते हैं, चाहे चलना हो, चाहे स्नान करना हो, चाहे सोना हो, चाहे पढ़ना हो, वो ही एक्टिविटी पे अपना संपूर्ण ध्यान होना चाहिए। बस यही मेरा संक्षिप्त से आपका उत्तर है।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद डॉक्टर मलकम। और वास्तव में आप बहुत ऊंचे साधक हैं। मैंने आपको घुमा फिरा करके आपकी परीक्षा लेनी चाहिए, इसके लिए मैं क्षमा प्रार्थी हूँ।
बिल्कुल नहीं।
वास्तव में हमारे साथ बैठे बहुत सारे प्रोफेसर्स हैं, स्कॉलर्स हैं, पीएचडी स्कॉलर्स हैं, जो वास्तव में आपकी ओर उसी दृष्टि से देख रहे हैं, उसी कातर दृष्टि से देख रहे हैं जिस तरह से मैं देख रहा हूँ। फिर भी मेरी धृष्टता के लिए क्षमा करेंगे। वास्तव में आप बिल्कुल सत्य उच्चरित कर रहे हैं। हम लोग अगर अपना ध्यान, अपनी सजगता को बढ़ाते हैं, वही एक मार्ग है जिससे कि हम आगे अपनी यात्रा को बढ़ा सकते हैं। अब मैं इसी प्रश्न को डॉक्टर पाणिग्राही जी के सामने लाऊंगा। एक साधारण लेमैन व्यक्ति अगर आपके पास आता है, आप अपने मार्ग के हिसाब से, इफ यू वांट टू टॉक ऑन द आनंद मार्गी व्यू, how you explain the tantric practices, whatever it is from the Madhyam Tantra or the Vam Tantra or the Dakshin Tantra, whatever your approach. So, how you satisfy the aspirant, Dr. Panigrahi?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. In Dakhin, I explained while I delivered my lecture in Dakhinachara Tantra. In Dakhinachara school, we practice rites and rituals because here gods are taken in anthropomorphic sense. We do idol worship. So for different idols, for different gods and goddesses, there are different types of performance of rites and rituals. And in Bhamachara school, we normally pray to achieve some supernatural power, like to walk on the fire, to remaining very much in depth water for a long hours, like this. So, but in Tantra actually adopts Madhyamachara sadhana. In Vamachara sadhana, the Panchamakara sadhana, there are 5 aims like Madhya, Mansa, Mascharya, Mudra, and Maithuna are taken in the cruder connotation. But in Vidya Tantra, there are practiced in their subtle connotation. Like suppose here it is in Madhya, when one Avidya Tantric is doing Madhya sadhana, what he does, he says we have to be intoxicated by taking some liquor or taking some anything which will intoxicate us. But when a Tantra sadhak, when a Vidya Tantric, when he does Madhya sadhana, what he does, he tries his individual rhythm into the cosmic. He tries to transform his individual rhythm, Swarasa, into cosmic rasa, Paramarasa. He transforms his Swarasa into Paramarasa. This is he goes to a cosmic trance. So one is intoxicated by taking the liquor there, taking the ganja there, but here one achieves, but one attains the state of spiritual trance. And similarly, like Mansa sadhana, we should not have ahare bhalo mando nahi jastane jamanto milai. They adopt anything can be taken if we want to take. But the food has jaise food aise body, jaise body aise mind. So इसलिए food has also enough role in achieving our goal because it is a spiritual journey. Food has enough role. So for that they take Mansa sadhana, means they take animal flesh. But here in Mansa sadhana, we have to control, we have to restrain over our tongue. That is the mansa sadhana. We have to bring a control over our tongue. So like this, they accept this panchamakara sadhana, madhya, mansa, matsya, mudra, maithuna, in a cruder sense, in a cruder connotation. But here a Vidyatantric, he accepts it in a subtle connotation, in its subtle meaning, he accepts it. And if an ordinary man comes, definitely for Tantra sadhana, Madhyamachara sadhana is more preferable than Dakhinachara and Vamachara. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Dr. Panigrahi. You explained how we can understand the Vamachara, although Vamachara is very difficult to understand and it is very hidden sacred practice, and very little people know about the real meaning of this Panchamakar Vamasadhana. But although I am looking, there are several questions. So I request host to just follow the time, and if you have time, you can put the questions on the table. We all three professors with me and Dr. Saroj is there. Total 5 people are there to answer the questions coming from your side. So you just follow the time and raise the question.
Although I have more than two questions, but I will restrict it to the two questions only because of the time restriction. We have vote of thanks to go after that. So there is one question which has been specified for Professor Dubey. However, I request anybody can answer that. The question goes like, is it not true that depending upon sattvic quality, people can take up yoga? If so, it cannot be taken by all, and hence it may not be universal education. In this case, how you can say it's a universal education system? Please reflect.
Well, this is a conditional statement starting with, is it not true that depending upon sattvic quality, people can take up yoga? So the question says that whether it is true or not. So it's not true.
Yes.
It is true that according to sattvic quality, the amount of it, that the amount of upliftment of whole existence means sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. This is also the existence, because the person of the Purush existence, physical existence of the Prakriti existence only. So as much as the sattvic tendencies are there, it will stretch a person towards evolution of his consciousness, means ability to gain not only the knowledge but experiences, the whole life understanding and learning. So that way it is there. And as far as universal education or education is concerned, education, the very word is educe, प्रेरित करना, एंड जागृत करना. शिक्षा संस्कारों की जननी जो है शिक्षा है. तो ऐसे समान रूप से जितने भी कारण हैं, जीवन, जगत, व्यवहार, पुरुषत्व से देवत्व से लेकर के चेतना के विशुद्ध चेतना की स्थिति तक, वो सारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम में आते हैं. और इसी में जो है सुख और दुख का ये जो दो पहिए हैं, ये घूमते हैं जीवन के. तो सात्विकता से अभिप्राय केवल ये है कि ऊपर रहकर एक रिफ्लेक्टिव कॉन्शियसनेस बनती है सात्विकता में. उस चेतना में ये सुख दुख के घूमना व्यक्ति समझ पाता है. तो इस दृष्टि से सात्विकता का महत्वपूर्ण और उच्चतम उत्कृष्ट भारतीय संस्कृति में, व्रत में, त्योहार में, संपूर्ण व्यवहार में स्थान है. जहां तक राजसिकता की बात है कि वो एनर्जी के लिए, गेन के लिए, आगे बढ़ने के लिए, जीवन को चलाने के लिए, उसकी गृहस्थाश्रम से लेकर के राजसिक में, रॉयल्टी में, स्टेट्स में सारी स्थिति है. और तामसिकता को तो मूढ़ की चित्त की वृत्तियों से, चित्त भूमियों के साथ जोड़ा गया है. बहरहाल एजुकेशन सिस्टम इज नॉट एज सिंपल एज जैसा कि इस स्टेटमेंट में आया है. इट्स अ वेरी वास्ट, इज अ होल लाइफ, and how the life can be more refined and should get the more meaning, or whole dimensions can be realized, चाहे वो आध्यात्मिक या भौतिक या शारीरिक या मानसिक, whatever way. तो इस दृष्टि से योग is there to unite with all aspects of life, all levels of life all together, so one after another. इसलिए एजुकेशन सिस्टम में तो योग है ही, और योग से ही जो है उत्कृष्ट, उच्चतम और जो भी मैक्सिमम सम्मम बोनम है वो हो सकता है. इसीलिए योग शब्द की सार्थकता है. दैट्स ऑल. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू. मैं एक लाइन इसमें जोड़ना चाहूँगा आपकी बातों में. अगर सरल भाषा में कहूँ कि अगर कोई सात्विक नहीं है, कोई तामसिक या राजसिक है, तो योग उसको सात्विक बना देगा। चलिए ठीक है, अगला प्रश्न पूछिए।